Hello, this is Shannon Soriano Greenwood here, and I wanted to come on Facebook Live today to just kind of ramble on. So I hope some of you will join me, and I did actually kind of plan what I wanted to chat about today. I was cleaning out files on my computer a couple days ago and came across this PowerPoint slide from a talk that I gave, gosh, I guess it's been like probably 2 years ago. It was a talk that I did with C3 at Spark, which is a local nonprofit arts organization here. But the topic of the talk was small business burnout, how to identify it, recover from it, or avoid it. But anyways, those who know me know I speak pretty openly that I am someone who has been through a burnout and then had to completely change course in my business and my work. But it's just fascinating because, you know, a lot of the stuff that I talked about in that talk has come up a lot in the last couple of weeks. And so I just wanted to talk about it because I do know, hey, Gabby, I do know that there's a lot of people out there, especially entrepreneurs or small business owners, that do struggle with burnout or stress that affects their ability to be productive or to be engaged in the work that they're doing. So I used to think that the more I had to do, the more that I would get done. I operated often in the sense of like when I'm really busy is like when I'm most productive, and then that's when I'm the most effective, and that's when I'm at my best. But I've come to learn that I can actually be really great without being really busy. And I can get a lot done even if I don't have as much to do, and that's actually way better for me. But it's just so interesting. So I'll talk a little bit about like my first experience in business ownership and then what it looks like today and just how those are so different. But when I started my first business, which was an indoor cycling studio here in Richmond, I had a full-time job, and I started that business with a business partner. And the thing we were so excited about fitness was it was like off normal working hours. So we could still work our full-time jobs while operating the business. So I had the full-time job, 40 hours a week. I would go to the business in the morning before I went to work, and then in the evening after work, and on the weekends. And then any free time that I had would be doing all of like the behind the scenes operational stuff, like marketing and working with our schedule and staff and connecting with people and replying to customer inquiries and all kinds of things like that. So full-time job, growing a business, and 3 months into running that business, I found out I was pregnant. And I was also teaching 4 classes a week. And anybody that's ever done an indoor cycling class, you know, like the intensity is very high. So one more time, full-time job, running a business, teaching 4 classes a week while I was pregnant. So it's really no surprise now looking back that I would not be able to sustain that and that I would burn out. So, after that, I basically had to like just scrap it, like start over. I quit the job, sold the business, and was like, I just need to like totally start over. And that actually was like a very devastating time in my life. But now that I'm not there, I can talk about it this way. I found my way to this online training program with someone who I adore and I talk about often, Rachel Cook, who actually is local to Richmond, but she teaches everything online. And at the time, the program she ran was called Conscious Business Design. Now it's called Sweet Spot Strategy. And she has a burnout story of her own, and talked about designing a business that supports the type of life that you want to have. And I had never heard anybody talk about doing it that way. I thought like you just had to get a job or you had to start a business, and whatever that looked like you weren't really in control. I never thought, oh, I can decide how often I want to work and with who and how much. And it was like a totally new thing for me. But I went through that program. I didn't like get it perfect. Actually, I still don't know if I've ever gone all the way through, but I keep going back to it because it really is a great foundation for me, because I didn't know that you could like do it another way. So last week I was sitting in a life coach session with my life coach, Ellie Burke, who's amazing. And she was like, Shannon, I think that you might be like kind of bored. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, that seems like the craziest thing that could ever happen. So I like had to like go through the Rolodex in my brain of like oh, Ellie, you're here. So good to see you. Yes. I had to go back through the Rolodex in my brain. Like, how did I get to this point? How did I get to the point that I could be like a little bit bored? And like, let me say also, there's nothing wrong with being bored. I think it's fantastic. And it actually makes me very proud of myself, because what I did is like a bunch of awesome things. I decided, thank you, that like I needed help. Like, I wasn't going to just do everything myself anymore. So I got help at home, which was like a total game changer, which if you have children, you understand this. I got a really reliable, amazing sitter for my children who is just magical. So I have more support at home, so I'm not always feeling scrambly. I'm not worried about where my kids are going. Like, every 4 days a week, I have daycare for my children. She comes to my house in the morning. They hang out there. They go do their thing, and then my husband picks them up. That means Friday I have them all day by myself, which, let me tell you, sometimes it's too much, but that's another story. It's a long day. Stay-at-home moms, you understand this. It's a long day. Anyway, so I got support at home. I started delegating in my actual work. Like, I hired someone who I adore, Virginia, who's helping me with my social media and communication so that things can be streamlined. I can create the content, and then she can help me get it to all the places that it needs to be. I decided I was going to work with just a few clients, like honestly, like no more than 4, 6 if I'm like totally trying to make myself insane. So just a few clients, which means I had to get my price point right. I had to get the value that I was going to contribute to those clients. I had to figure out what I was going to do with them. But I was clear in my mind that like I can't work on more than 4 to 6. 6 is really the max. 6 businesses at a time, or my brain just doesn't work. And I know a lot of creative people out there can relate to this. Like, you can really only work on so many creative projects at a time, or else like your creative juices are just like not there anymore. So support at home, delegating in my work, less clients, but clients that I really, really, really like working with, that are in my sweet spot at a price point that can support the type of revenue that I want to make. The other thing that I used to suck at, and I've been really good at lately, is boundaries. And Ellie, if you're still here, I know you know this, and Rachel Cook can also attest to this. I used to just like say yes to everything. And that even includes like replying to emails that like I don't need to be replying to, or like taking like, if someone's asking me for something, like stressing about saying no to them, which takes up energy and mental space, taking time to craft like a perfectly nice, like don't want to hurt their feelings, like email response when I just don't want to do it. Or even like going to things that I don't want to go to for fear that either I'll miss out on something or I'll hurt someone's feelings. And like probably neither of those things were true, but I just was spending all this time. So better boundaries, like saying no to stuff that I either don't want to do, or that or it's just I'm doing too much and I have to say no to something. That's hard. Like, saying no to stuff that you want to do is not easy. So trust me, I know. I can't believe that I'm even saying that out loud, that I've been having good boundaries lately, but I have. And then the other one is like just protecting like my time for myself. I used to think, especially when I first ran a business, like if I have like free time or like any space, like I should like fill that with something productive, right? Like I should be at least thinking about what I'm going to do when I'm back to what I'm doing. Like the brain was just like always going and always in problem solving mode. And like, don't get me wrong, I still do that sometimes, but just finding more space to not be thinking about what I'm doing in my business. Like that, my go-to is to be thinking about that. And so I'm trying to do that less. So anyways, I found myself literally last week thinking like, gosh, I have like all this space. And that being such a weird feeling because I'm not used to having space. But I made that space with the help of other people. But I made it, right? I decided I'm not going to work all the time. When I'm not working, I'm going to really try to be not working. I'm going to work with less people so that I have creative space in my brain. And I'm going to get support for stuff that I either can't do or don't want to do. And then I'm not going to feel guilty about having support to do things that I can't do or don't want to do. And of course, the boundaries, which I think is very hard for a lot of people, especially if you're starting. Everyone's afraid to say no to stuff because you're afraid you're going to miss some great opportunity. But I have found I've missed more opportunities by saying yes to everything and having no space than the opposite. So anyways, this is kind of a rant and a ramble, but that's fine because I just wanted to share a little bit about this. I haven't talked about it in a long time. It is possible to go from super stressed and busy burnout to a place of space and openness and like, dare I say it, like success? I mean, I don't really like that word, but like this is kind of my version. And I don't feel this way all the time or even all day long, right? Like there's still like, what am I doing with my life? Like that will never go away. But yeah, it's just amazing to me. I think I work with now, like a lot of the business owners that I work with are people that are transitioning from like doing all the work themselves to like having a team or having more people and them not being in the role of doing all of the work. And like, that's a scary place. And I'm just now recognizing how I've kind of done that myself. Like I used to be the one that like replied to every email and like initiated every action and was just really, really involved in driving every single thing. And I thought that that meant I was being a leader and like being the boss of my business. What I recognize now is being a leader means you're putting people into place who are doing all of those things, that are coming to the table with their own ideas and their own way of doing things, and then giving them the freedom to do what they do best. And so that's why I really like working with business owners that are in that space. And I find myself there too. So anyways, I hope that this resonates with some people. I see I've got a couple of people here, but I can't really see who you are. So if you have any questions or comments or like, yes, this is me, or like, yes, I'm in the same boat that I'm like stressing and, you know, thinking that if I'm thinking about stuff that's being productive, or in the opposite of like, now I have all this space and I don't even know what to do, because I do think there's a little bit of weird guilt around that too sometimes for business owners that get to that point and they're like, wow, I have this incredible team and they like almost don't need me anymore. Like, what is my new role and purpose? And guaranteed they do still need you, but in a different way, right? They don't need you to reply to all the emails. They just need you to give direction of where things are going. That's the kind of business owner that I would like to be and think that I am becoming. So that's it. Oh my gosh, what a ramble. It all just like spilled out. I literally had like 3 notes on a note card, but anyways, thank you all so much for listening, as always, and for being here. Gabby, I don't know if you're still here, but it's good to see you. It was good to run into you the other day. And Ellie, always. Thank you, thank you. Have a great rest of your week, guys. Farewell.